My name is Jeanine, and as Lynn said, I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about what's going on with the Tea Party movement and how it relates to the Republican Party. And I'm going to tell you now, it's not exactly a warm, fuzzy feeling. Okay, it's not going to be a feel-good speech, but you need to know what's going on. This is important. Now, again, I also see a lot of new faces here and some older faces that have been with us a while, and I'm going to say if you all were like me. I was involved from the beginning, but I can tell you that I got involved in the Tea Party movement, and I was ready to rumble. I was ready to rumble against the progressive liberals who have infiltrated and hijacked the Democratic Party and who are systematically destroying our nation. I very naively believed, I had no experience at all with politics before I got involved here. And I very naively believed that the Republican Party was going to welcome us with open arms. I thought that they were going to work with us to help us vanquish all these evil forces. And then in return, we were going to support this newly reborn conservative Republican Party, and we were going to propel them back into power. Never in my wildest naive imaginings could I have envisioned that in many respects, sad to say, today's Republican Party in many places is every bit as corrupt, as on the tape, and as power hungry as their Democratic counterparts. I'm sad to say that. I really am. I'm very disillusioned because basically what it amounts to is we are at war before we can go to war to actually save our nation. And it is happening all over Rockland. It's happening statewide. And sad to say, in many instances, it's happening all across the country. In a nutshell, the current, and I don't even like to call them the Republican Party, because there are some good eggs. I call the infiltrators the Republican machine. In a nutshell, the Republican machine has, again, declared war on the Tea Party movement.
Rhinos.
Yeah, okay. Rhinos. Well, I'll get into tea rhinos later, okay. But what they are doing, any Tea Party patriots who will not embrace the Republican machine agenda and support their anointed candidates is shut out of the political process. Okay? They want no part of us. If there is a Tea Party endorsed candidate who does happen to win the Republican nod for nomination, they are warned. I've been told this by a couple of those candidates. Stay away from the Tea Party movement. You're to have nothing to do with them. Now, I want to know, especially in this year with this environment, what conservative candidate is going to stand a prayer of a chance of winning high office without Tea Party backing? And here, the Republican machine is telling them, if you want our nod, you must stay away from the Tea Party movement. They are going out of their way to force, using any tactic they can, bending any rule they can, to force their choice of candidates who are mostly very weak on the issues and don't stand a chance of winning. The deal is in, folks, the Republicans and the Democrats. The fix is already in. But they're forcing their choices on us. And what really disturbs me, because this has been coming to light more recently, they are doing everything in their power, legal and otherwise, to prevent Tea Party patriots from winning seats on the Republican committee. In fact, your town chair was publicly heard saying, I was there, that that's their mission because they don't want the Tea Party movement taking over the Republican Party. But that doesn't work in reverse. What they also are doing is the Republican Party has recruited machine operatives. You all need to be aware of this because this is important. They are infiltrating the Tea Party movement. They are either joining groups that are already in existence, or they're starting their own groups. They're hijacking the name Tea Party to give themselves the appearance of credibility. And so this way they can say that they're Machine-anointed candidates have Tea Party support. Now, when we call them on it, when we tell them, not true, they tell us, oh, yes, it's true. The Tea Party movement has a big umbrella. And if I continue, or we continue to push the issue, they steal a page out of the Democratic playbook. And they call us far right-wing fringe radicals. Can you believe the Republican Party calling the Tea Party movement far right-wing fringe radicals? Just for my own head, let me quickly take a straw poll, because maybe, I don't know, maybe they're right. Maybe I have gone too far over the edge. I'm going to ask you 3 quick questions based on the platform of one of their star candidates. Don't be afraid, I'm not going to rip your head off. I would like to see a show of hands. 3 questions based on the platform of this gentleman. How many people in this room this evening support abortion? Federally funded, partial birth, abortion on demand. Again, don't be afraid, because I'm not going to rip your head off. I need to see for myself. Does anybody here support abortion? One, okay, fine.
Just abortion, not government sponsored.
Well, feds will be paying for it.
Well, then you're adding another layer to it.
All right, so let's just take abortion right there. We'll leave it there. How many people in this room would support a candidate who publicly states that both major parties need to move to the center? Okay, we have one. How many people would support a candidate who describes himself as a fiscal conservative but a social moderate who would have no problem working with the Democrats in Congress? Okay. These are actual statements that I am listing directly out of a newspaper interview with one of these candidates. So, based on what I'm seeing, either that great big umbrella isn't quite as big as they'd have us believe, or else almost every single one of us in this room is a far right-wing fringe radical.
Yes. If that's the alternative, I'll vote for it.
Welcome to the club. Maybe that's the big umbrella. But the idea is they still.
I don't see why it's a shock. The Republican Party and the Conservatives even have always had people who would be willing to cross the aisle. Take McCain, Lindsey Graham, there's a number.
Exactly. Rhinos.
So it's no big news.
You know what? You know why it's big news now? Because the Democratic Party has lurched so far to the left.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
But that started in the 60s.
Okay. And what is happening? Yes. But what is happening now is to counterbalance people, the general population is mostly going more right to try and counterbalance. And then you have candidates that are put up by the Republican machine, again, not just here, that are saying, yeah, I'll work with the Democrats, I won't have any problem, I'm a social moderate. That's not going to rescue our country and bring it back.
Let's split the vote on it.
Well, this is why I say, in the meantime, they're still perpetrating their backroom deals. The Republicans are still working with the Democrats, and the fix is in. I'll give you a quick example from my district. I don't live in the 17th district. All right? Now, obviously, as powerful as they all are, they all know it would be suicide to openly cross-endorse each other's candidates. So what they're doing instead, I'm from the 18th district, the one lorded over by Queen Nita Lowell. And what they did, the Republican machine, is they turned their back on an excellent conservative Republican candidate, and instead they awarded the nomination to a Democrat. They gave a Democrat permission to run on the Republican line. The plot thickens there. As soon as the petition process ended, guess what? Their anointed Democrat dropped out of the race, leaving no real viable candidate now to face off against Nita Lowell. So rife with this kind of disenfranchisement and this corruption are these two parties that Nita Lowell sits back and laughs her butt off. She knows she's in for life. She's so sure that that position is her birthright, she is actually grooming her daughter to succeed her. Voters be damned. This is her birthright. This is a dynastic reign. So that's what I'm dealing with up in the 18th district. You people, well, the machine has decided to force on you a candidate who is a little too far to the left, a little too weak on the issues I should say, and also has enough ethical baggage that there's no chance that he will ever defeat Eliot Engel. But that's okay, the fix is in. And the Republican machine is actively working against the one true constitutional conservative Tea Party endorsed candidate who would like to and probably does stand an excellent chance of defeating Eliot Engel, especially this year. So people, this is what we're up against. And I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to tag on to what Lynn said. I know I'm going to wrap it up because I'm starting to go a little bit long. If we back down, we're not going to survive. And as the guiding forces in our own movement have said, the time is past when the few can carry the load for the many. The only way we are going to fight and succeed, especially as the machine is feeling out pressure and is pushing back, is we need more boots on the ground. I know it's not easy. You know, it was Mark Levin recently who said the time has passed to put down the petition signs, the petition and the protest signs and pick up campaign signs. All right? Notice when we first started the Tea Party movement, we had a bunch of rallies, and all the candidates and all the politicians on both sides of the aisle needed a change of their depends every hour. But then as we had each successive rally and each successive protest, and they saw that we didn't follow those protests up with concrete action, they became more convinced that our bark has no bite. And now every time we rally, they laugh at us. So we have to move past that. I know it's not easy. None of us, including me, we're not activists by nature. We have enough on our plate, making a living, taking care of our families, trying to hold on to whatever property we have left that hasn't yet been stolen from us. But you all need to ask yourselves, what is the price of my inaction? I'm asking you, please, there's too much at stake, people. We're talking about the very survival of our nation. After this meeting, come up to us and ask us. The more people involved, the less we each individually have to do. What can I do? How can I help? I can only give this much time. Believe me, we'll find a space and a role for you. So with that, I thank you very much.